The biggest Russian ammunition depot was Kaboomed today by Ukrainian drone, and it was really huge explosion. It happened over here in Taropets town, which is quite far away from Ukraine, I would say even further than Moscow. Let's zoom into the place to check out this ammunition warehouse. By the way, hello my friends and welcome, my name is Dennis and this is the latest update from Ukraine. Let's go. Okay, so this is the Taropets town and this is the huge ammunition depot. As you can see, it's almost the same size as this town. It has several of the storage spots and the entire ammunition warehouse was on fire today, including this larger section. As you may see, Russia put some of the walls from the ground, but they were not able to secure the storage because the explosives there, well, it's just huge. And we have this video published today. It's not a nuclear explosion, but it's the largest recorded Kaboom, a single Kaboom, since the beginning of the war. Indeed, it is damn huge. And it's not just a single Kaboom. You may see on this picture there are at least two more. And probably those villages nearby do not exist any longer. And just for you to understand how powerful that explosion was, we have to rely to the history about Hiroshima and Nagasaki bombings. So in Hiroshima case, the explosion was equivalent of 15,000 tons of TNT, which means 15 kilotons, and compared to the modern-day nuclear weaponry, it was just a tactical nuke. At the same time, the Taropets facility accommodates around 30,000 tons of military munitions. Well, it is not exactly TNT, but not far away from it, because the modern-day munitions actually may cause more devastations, like for example .U missiles, which were stored out there. As CNN reports, there were seismic signals detected of magnitude between 2.5 up to 2.8 in northern Russia, which looked to be associated with a drone attack launched by Ukraine on that ammunition storage. The original data comes from the NORSAR, the Norwegian Seismology Research. Now I might tell you that it was a really powerful Kaboom. Right, we have more data from the ammunition depot that was Kaboomed. The data comes from NASA. And here are the fire spots all around the facility, so we may state that the vast part of the facility was destroyed. It's a significant strike for the Russian military because Russia really depends on their resources, and probably there were also some of the artillery shells stored, aviation bombs, and so on. For Russia, it's crucial to produce more ammunition to obtain them from their allies like North Korea, but the Ukrainian drone strikes, after all, may eliminate this advantage. Here's one more video, guys. I'll share it on my Telegram. Here just some of the screenshots for you to understand the scale of this Kaboom. It's really huge. Well, maybe after all it wasn't a single drone strike because there are many of the fire origins. Here's the facility before and after. There's the thick smoke and maybe the part of the facility survived, but not much of it. The more detailed picture shows that the fire spread all over the place. Not just the ammunition storage was hit, but also some of the local Russian military branch, the Russian barracks, and I guess Russia has some of the losses there. That's what Russian military bloggers said about the case. Our elephants they call beautifully, the place where Ukrainian armed forces are based in Sudzha. Update, this is Taropets, Tver region, sorry didn't check. A partial location in the city has been announced. Yes. It's kind of encouraging that a small drone causes that severe devastation for the Russian army. Right, the Russian side blogger Anastasia Kashavarova said that the destroyed ammunition warehouse was the largest arsenal of missiles of the Russian armed forces. How much more lies and mistakes can we make? How many times we have heard that it's enough to panic? Well, it's time to panic, right? So she's frustrated that the Russian Defense Ministry is calm about the case. They act like nothing happened. They sit with the calm faces and watch the explosions that look like mushrooms. At least panic a little, she asked. The war is on. I believe that the Russian Defense Ministry really panicked after today's case. And we are screwing up, one screw up after another. Yes, yes and yes. Well, she reports that around 200 servicemen were at this ammunition depot. There were barracks, and judging from the explosions and footage, nothing was left from the bodies. Well, yes, you have this special military operation sometimes in Russia too. Yeah, I should remember her name for the further reference because the comments she writes, well, they're on spot and hilarious. Alright guys, and let's go to the Kursk Oblast. There the situation changed just a little for the last 24 hours. Russia unfortunately took more ground according to many of the analytics. From what we see, the aim for the Russian army is to move Ukrainian forces out from Kornevo. By doing so, Russia may avoid the encirclement situation for them, then they will be trapped between the river and the Ukrainian positions plus Ukrainian border. On this military map, we may clearly see the most hot spots, so Russia tries to conquer more territories with numerous of the losses, but still they are unable to pass Lyubimovka. Ukraine tries to move ahead over here, causing some losses for Russia, and you may see more blue stuff, so Ukrainian artillery fire, Ukrainian aviation gliding bombs, tanks, BMPs. Here Ukraine tries to perform the surveillance missions for the possible future attack preparations, and here Ukrainian attack is under the Russian strikes. Yeah, hopefully you can see this part of the picture. There are lots of the Russian aviation gliding bombs which they drop on the Ukrainian positions, so still there is the risk for the Russian group, but for now it's not severe. Today the Ukrainian military command say that the Russian offensive in Kursk was stopped by Ukrainian army, but yet we see that Russia took some of the ground for the last 24 hours. I hope that Ukraine will be able to encircle the Russian army group, and also from this side, without this success, Ukrainian army will be forced after a while to withdraw the forces from the Kursk region. I predicted like that during the winter time, but if the Russian forces are encircled, Russia may lose lots of the resources and Ukraine may continue the further movement. So we'll see how the situation will go. The decisive time for the Kursk operation will be nearby 2 weeks, and we're gonna see the outcome very fast. And the deep state military map source also confirmed the change on the front lines in Kursk. Well, this update actually happened a couple of days ago, or maybe even 3 days ago, but the deep state just published it today, so it's not the recent change. For the last 24 hours, Russia gained more territories somewhere over here. So the main aim for Russia is Kornilov, but the secondary aim is Lyubimovka and this very important crossroad. By taking this territory under control, Russia would cut supplies for the entire northern part. Hopefully it would not happen in the nearby future. In that case, Ukraine would withdraw the forces from this place because there is no reason to keep them here, and Ukraine would withdraw from this entire area, so the encirclement of the Russian army wouldn't be possible. In that case, Ukraine would just keep the limited territory under control, Suja and some of the settlements. It's like one of the scenarios, my friends. I'm not saying that it will happen in the nearby future, but it could be if Russians would be successful in taking this crossroad. It's a game changer for this entire region. Especially it is crucial during the late autumn period and the cold period of the year, because the rest of the roads in this region are just the dirt roads or they do not exist. They're just few normal paved roads which could be used for the stable supplies. That's why I'm saying that during the winter period of time for Ukraine it would be very hard to keep the Kursk region, this part, under control, because you require more supplies during the winter period and your supply lines are much weaker compared to the summer period. Then you may go through the fields, especially in this area where there are not many mines as in Ukrainian front lines. Alright, let's go to Ukrainian front lines review here. The Russian army moved just a little in Pokrovsk direction, so it was yesterday, it is today. They created some sort of the hook from the northern part of Ukrainsk. The Ukrainsk is mostly taken by the Russian soldiers. I guess I know their next goal. They want to bypass the Ukrainian group, which is based in those villages, because Ukraine there keeps the higher ground, so Russia wants to encircle Ukrainian forces from this side, and also they will continue to push from the north because here's the same elevation as this ground. For Russia this advancement could be successful because there are not many villages, just mostly fields, and if you check the same data from the Michael 73 analytic, you may see that there are no defense lines of Ukraine lying there. The only defense line is here. Russia already bypassed it. There were many defense lines before, but Russia already took all of those territories under control, and Ukraine wasn't really building defense lines in this area, at least from the information coming. Based on the satellite images, the military analytics draw those military maps. Those small villages could be used as the defense lines, like for example Davydov village, which is quite big. I would say it's the town which Ukraine uses as the defense spot, but here no any defense spot. So Russia will advance to this place for sure, and after it they will go to Tsakurin village and then to the south, trying to encircle the Ukrainian group, and here we may see one more Russian attack vector, so they will continue to press Ukraine from this side too. The situation there is not good for Ukrainian side, I may say, judging on the military maps. Well, the good thing that it's the only change for the last 24 hours in all of this Pokrovsk direction, so this global pace of this huge Russian attack slowed down gradually. If we go to the northeast direction, the tourists down there, Russia moved a little today. They took this hill under control and the local cemetery fully. But they're very slow in Kursk. However, the fight is ongoing in the city. They want to take this settlement obviously till the cold time of the year. The Guardian says that the most important part of the summer campaign will be the battle for Pokrovsk, which might start the next month. Well, despite the current situation for Ukraine, which is really hard, Ukraine still has the chance and capabilities to withstand the Pokrovsk. But it is only possible if the Ukrainian military command does the prompt actions right now. And please don't tell us that Pokrovsk is not important. No, it's damn important. It's the most critical settlement if we speak about supplies for the entire Donetsk Oblast, which is left under Ukrainian control. Bakhmut was not that important. Avdiivka, as you see, was important because after Avdiivka, Russia advanced really fast towards Pokrovsk. Pokrovsk is crucial. If Ukraine loses Pokrovsk this year, well, we'll have a bad news for the next year, obviously for the summer campaign. Moreover, there are just low chances for Ukraine to obtain the new military package from the United States of America. Well, after all, it all depends on who wins the next United States elections. But again, I promise you not to talk about the United States politics on this channel from my own attitude and from my preferences. We'll see how it goes. Democracy should decide. Zelensky is going to visit the United States of America very soon. He will speak with Biden, the current White House administration. He still wants to convince the United States officials to get Ukraine into NATO, or at least receive the promise for the future invitation of Ukraine in NATO. And definitely I may tell you that without NATO alliance, the war may continue for many years because no one will secure Ukraine. After all, what Zelensky signs with the other countries, some sort of the security agreements, well, those are just papers. I wouldn't call them even documents because there are no obligations for any of the side, like, for example, the 5th article of NATO. And you know, politicians speak about the possible peace talks, so if we let Russia to get all of those territories under their control, yes, obviously those will be not recognized as the Russian ones, and if Ukraine just stays alone here, not will be taken into NATO or something, Russia will strike Ukraine once again. It's 100%. I cannot say 1000% because from the mathematical point of view, it's not correct, so 100% Russia will strike Ukraine again. It's just a matter of time. That's why the current Ukrainian government doesn't see the realistic scenario for the possible peace talks between Ukraine and Russia at this stage. But if Russia continues to push and Ukraine obtains less weaponry, obviously there will be some sort of the peace agreements, and those will be not profitable for Ukraine at all, and those will be just temporary. So the NATO decision is crucial for Ukraine. Without it, there will be imminent war again, the full scale, maybe even worse than we have right now. Also, Lukashenko, yes, the self-proclaimed Belarus president, said that the Western intelligence on their close meeting say about the escalation of the war, which might start very soon this autumn. He also warns that if someone attacks Belarus, by the way, he also mentioned Russia in this context, well, that may lead to the Third World War. Well, maybe because Belarus already has the nuclear weaponry from Russia. But why should Russia attack Belarus? Because Belarus is slaved to Russia. It's like one more republic or oblast of the Russian Federation with a puppet government. Kind of the interesting news are coming from Armenia. Armenian National Security Service reveals that Russia was preparing the military coup in the country. Also, Russia involved the other countries of the same military union. I think that Belarus was involved there and maybe even Kazakhstan, but I'm not sure about Kazakhstan because they're more independent compared to Belarus. For the last couple of years, we see the tremendous degradation in relations between Russia and Armenia. Armenia frees the military membership with the Russian Federation. It's a big step forward. And here's the new scandal which reveals the direct involvement of Russia in the internal affairs of Armenia. The problem for Armenia that it's jammed from many of the sides. On one side, it has Russia, which is now no longer friendly towards Armenia, and from the other side there is Azerbaijan, which is supported by Turkey and not the friends for Armenia as well. That's why Pashinyan is seeking for some sort of the international protection, intensifying relations with the United States of America. Intensifying relations, can you say that in English? So making relations with America better. To some of the international news and conflicts, for the second day consecutive, Israel launches the outstanding attack on the Hezbollah movement, as they say. And definitely many of the Hezbollah members were wounded because their walkie-talkies, yes, this time those were the radios, kaboomed. Yesterday those were just the pagers, and you know guys, I'm out of clue how Israel put the explosives inside those devices and how they were sure that all of those devices appear in Lebanon within the Hezbollah members. Some articles stated that devices were modified with explosives during the period of production. Many of those were made partially in Taiwan and some in Europe. So definitely looking at this thing, for example, should I expect the same modification? I know that I'm not in Lebanon, I'm not connected to Hezbollah, but this is kind of scary at the same time. Yeah, this operation was done with a good cause to eliminate the Iranian proxies, the Hezbollah, which is definitely a terrorist organization, but with that influence, you know, to mine the devices, electronic devices, it's outstanding, really. Also, it means that Israel is up to start the military operation on the north. They'll go to Lebanon, I'm sure about it, and it will happen in the coming days, if not the hours. Here Hezbollah shares the images of their losses for today. This is the boy, actually. He looks very young with this baby face, but still he got some sort of the rifle. He is wearing the uniforms, so he was definitely the member of the group. And there are the strikes already reported in Lebanon. The Israeli aviation works against some sort of the positions. About iPhones, well, this photo was shared today saying that it's from Lebanon, saying that Israel is capable to explode those devices as well. Well, we see the damaged iPhone, but it's in one piece more or less. Maybe definitely something went wrong with the battery, or maybe it's not even in Lebanon. It's hard to fact check this image. And here we have the comment from the Israeli Defense Minister Gallant. He says that Israel's focus has moved to the northern front. The new phase of war begins, and maybe Israel will start the ground operation in Lebanon very soon. The Estonian General Vahor Karo said that NATO plus Estonia are preparing for the possible military confrontation between NATO and Russia. They think that it might potentially happen not far away from Estonia, but you know, after all, for now, Russian army doesn't have those kind of the resources to attack the NATO countries. They stuck in Ukraine. Guys, please don't forget to press your huge like to this video. By doing so, you help me a lot. I wish you all a peaceful sky wherever you are, and have a great time.